Hi. Uh, I'm sure people know what's happening recently in the VTuber sphere and all that sort of jazz, and I thought it was about time that I not really step up, but kind of just say my piece when it comes to not just the whole situation that's going on, but the whole, well, world in general, really. Now, normally it's part of my instinct to not really talk about any of this. I grew up as a kid who very much was forced to fit in. I grew up as a child who had to learn what to say and what not to say through stumbling and falling and constantly being told that, I shouldn't speak my mind or I shouldn't let myself out and all that sort of jazz. And that is something that even to today, in my freaking 30s, I still struggle with that now and then. And this is one of those subjects that I have been very much worried about bringing up, but at the same time feel like it needs to be said. So I'm recording this right now and I'm absolutely terrified. Hands down, I am. I'm brown trousers time. This is. But end of the day, ultimately, there's enough conviction in me that I'm going to be saying it. So to start things off, I've ended up attaching this as a quote response to Cassifell's video on Zentreya. And this isn't me speaking and saying that she's wrong, because she's not. What I'm saying is, to those who are looking at what Cassifell has said, how Cassifell has responded, and how so many others have responded with rage and fury and anger and outright just, vitriol and venom and acid and all of that, I want you to realize something right now. These are the roars of people, of us, who have been saying for years that stuff like this was coming. And I don't just mean Zentreya, I mean, you look at the situation in America, you look at the situation when it comes to the internet censorship, you look at how the porn industry is currently getting slammed, you look at how AI generated images are trying to take over AI voice acting, Israel slamming into Pakistan and trying to, Palestine, trying to annihilate an entire populace, an entire culture, an entire people. You look at England and how they are pushing an anti-trans rhetoric and trying to just prevent people from being able to be who they want to be. And you look back in the years and realize just how many times people have ended up turning around and saying, "Oh, you're just being dramatic. Nothing bad's gonna happen. You're just being over dramatic. You're just being too sensitive. You're just being woke." Now imagine how it feels if you end up telling somebody that the house is on fire. And yet, no matter how much you try, how much you scream, how much you wail, how much you even point at where the fires have grabbed onto whatever carpet or wall or whatever you fancy, and are slowly spreading throughout your home, throughout your house, throughout the house that you share with your loved ones, your family, your friends, your neighbors, and everybody, or at least the majority, turn around and say, "It's just being dramatic, it'll put itself out by itself." And then, as soon as the blaze ends up engulfing room after room, causing buildings to fall, sweeping its way through an entire city, and you know for a fact that it could have been stopped if people just listened and tried to help you when you pushed back. That feeling of absolute despair, I can completely understand why Cassifell and so many others are so angry as they are, and they are confident enough and brave enough to show it. Because there's people like Castle who have been screaming to the heavens about how we can stop this, about how things do not have to be this way, about how things can be stopped, and about how what is happening in the world is wrong. And to have people, not only then, but still now, turn around and say, you're just being overdramatic. You're overthinking it. You're responding too vitriolly. Oh my god, you're being so nasty to this person who is just, wearing a Nazi outfit, or is talking casually about how they want to, force people to detransition, or is kidnapping people off the street and putting them into freaking concentration camps. And there comes a point where trying to say something like that normally just doesn't cut it anymore. There are so many out there who will turn around and be like, oh, but you need to establish a proper dialogue. And allow me to say that that has been attempted even since I was younger, even since, before I even knew how the hell the world worked and all that sort of stuff. I saw how people tried to push for a better world and were pushed down or snuffed out or bullied into being quiet because of the fact that it was easier to just either ignore it or to just to leave it alone because you're far too busy dealing with your own problems. And that's not me saying that you shouldn't focus on your own problems at all. That is me saying that was part of the design. That was part of how all of this works. The select few make the masses' lives hard, so that way, instead of being able to form together and push against the absolute injustice that they're pushing upon this world, we are too busy trying to fix our own little lives. I've been doing it for so long. I've been trying to focus on that. I've been going on about how I just want to make this small pocket of a place where people can be free from this horrific darkness that has been engulfing itself around our world, around our people, around our very hearts. And as much as I felt like what I was doing was noble, it has never felt more useless. It has never felt more defeatist. It has never felt more pointless. And so this is me now stepping out and saying that I'm reaching out to my fellow people just to say, yeah, we need to come together. Not just as small groups, not just as whatever sort of category you want to assign yourself as, but as people. Those who want to fight back against those who are forcing all of these horrific things upon us, trying to deny us our freedoms while in turn preaching that the freedom is the very thing that is allowing them to do this. Allow me to point this out. Allow me to say this right now. If your personal freedom is to smother or deny or destroy another person or persons' lives, their own freedoms, or to harm them, or to intrude upon it, or to infuse yourself into it in such a toxic way, in any way, then that's just evil. It may be your personal freedom, but that doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't mean it shouldn't be fought against. That doesn't mean that it shouldn't be called out for what it is. That doesn't mean that it shouldn't be preached from the heavens itself that this is wrong and that you are wrong. I have seen many friends bullied for simply being who they want to be. And all they've ever wanted is to be accepted. They don't want to try and force another person to transition if they don't want to. They don't want to try and make the entire world gay if that's what people are worried about. They don't want to expose kids to, stuff that is clearly not designed for that sort of thing. They are not trying to turn this world into some sort of depraved cesspit where, your inhibitions are allowed freedom and you have no sense of self-respect or control. That has never, ever been the case. All they want is a space where they can be them, with people who are like them, with people who are like me. And when you've tried so hard for something as simple as a place where you can live, again, I can completely understand why they'd be so angry. It'd make me so angry too if instead I wasn't just feeling so sad. I truly feel so sad for all of those who have suffered. And I even feel sad for those who don't realize the pain they're causing. Because there are some out there who simply follow blindly. They've been indoctrinated in this way of life and they don't know anything else. They've been poured poison into their lives ever since they were young, and because of this, they can't accept a world that isn't what they have been told, that isn't this tightly structured, restrictive, depriving, choking way of life. It gets to the point where a lot of the time, when they end up acting out aggressively to something like that, when they call it out, when they try and mock it, when they try and bully the things that are there, a lot of the time that is because they are scared. They're terrified because they don't know, they don't understand. But the difference between that and the anger that we are feeling now is that we do understand. We understand inherently, we understand deeply what is at stake here. I really wish this music was better. I picked a random playlist, this is not going well. And yeah, I just, end of the day, to all my friends out there, to all of those fighting the good fight, to all of those who are just living as themselves, and are proud to be who they are, and shamelessly showing off the colourful, vibrant, extravagant, wonderful people that honestly make the world around them brighter and better and more exciting than anything. Just know that we will get there. And we'll do it together. We'll fight tooth and claw. We'll sing songs. We'll dance the night away. We'll fuck each other into a freaking stupor. Yeah. That's my 2 bits. That's my 2 cents. And I hope that, to whoever ends up deciding to listen to this, that you at least take something from it. It doesn't have to be everything, because I know there was a lot said. But I hope that something at least resonated with you. And I hope that you too can see the people around you and just be there. And push back against all the horrificness that is happening of today. Okay? Anyways. It's getting late. Dream big. I love you all very, very much. And, well, hopefully I'll see you in the future. Bye-bye.